Hey, welcome back to Dan's Chess Lounge, everyone. So today we're going to be covering the Alekhine Defense. The Alekhine is one of my favorite openings to play. It's underrated in my opinion because it doesn't follow your standard or fundamental principles. Instead of occupying the center with your central pawns, you occupy the center with your knight. So it kind of goes against the grain. So it's not played as much and it's not taught as much, but it's a very dangerous opening once you get the hang of it. And I encourage everyone to give it a shot and give it a try, and let me know what you think. So the Alekhine, was popularized by, of course, the fourth world champion Alexander Alekhine, and the idea behind the opening is kind of to tempt white or lure white to build up a big pawn center, and then we can exploit that with the holes that he leaves behind and with the structure that's left behind. So let's go ahead and get into it. White will play e4, and we start out with knight f6, e5, knight d5. This knight d5 is the best place for the knight to go. Sometimes people will jump to knight e4 instead. But then the knight can really get chased around, and it's not as good. So the best move here is knight d5. c4, knight b6. Now, after this here, you have d4, and white's center does look kind of menacing for the moment. But just remember that, pawns don't go backwards. So there will be an opportunity, for us to maybe exploit the big center that white is building up. d6, and now you have this is called the exchange variation of the Alekhine defense, and the two most common ways to recapture are e takes d or c takes d. I prefer c takes d because it leads to a more complex game where either side can go wrong. But E takes D is fine as well. There's nothing wrong with E takes D. And maybe if you're just learning this opening, E takes D might be the better way to start out. For example, the E takes D line would go something like E takes D, knight C3, knight C6 here. You have to get your knight out here to, exert some type of pressure, on the central pawns there. Bishop e3, bishop e7, bishop d3, and now you have castle. Black is all castled, fine and dandy. Knight g e2 and knight b4. So here, black is pretty much castled. His pieces are pretty much all developed except for his light square bishop that can still come out at his leisure. And right now, the black knight is attacking the light square bishop, and his other knight is attacking the c4 pawn. So white is going to give up either his bishop pair, or if he really values his bishop pair, he can give up the c4 pawn. So either way, black is doing great here. So let's go ahead and show you another variation of the Alekhine defense. Here we're going to go into the classical variation. So e5 hits the knight. Now we play knight d5. d4. White plays d4 here. d6. So we're going to start breaking up that pawn center. Now instead of attacking the knight with c4, here white goes ahead and plays knight f3. So white is developing a piece. He's kind of saying, you're not gonna lure me out. You're not gonna tempt me to, build up this big pawn center that you can just later exploit. So he plays knight f3, a good move, developing his piece. D takes e, knight captures, and now here it's very, very important to play c6 right here to reinforce your pawn on d5. What could happen if you don't play c6 here? The more natural move is to play knight d7 to attack that central knight there on e5, because that is a good that is a good strong piece there for white on e5. But that, if you played knight d7 here, that would be a mistake, because that would lead to white being able to sack his piece on f7. Now black cannot castle, and he's being brought out into the board, to the middle of the board. You have queen h5 check, and it also hits the knight there on d5. And see, it's the knight there is not reinforced. If we would have played c6 there, this line would not have worked. So now you have king e6. The king is being brought out into the middle of the board to try to hold on to his knight. This is just awful for black here. We don't want to play this way at all. So let's go back. So here you would have c6. You play c6 here. Reinforce your knight there. That eliminates all of those type of crazy lines there. Bishop e2. Bishop f5. This is the normal developing moves here. This is the normal variation, main variation of this line. Castles, knight d7. Now we can challenge the knight. And now there's no reason for white to allow you to capture his good knight there. He would retreat, e6, and the resulting position is black can easily develop his dark square bishop to d6, and then castle kingside. He'll be all developed, fully developed, and his king will be safe. No problems at all. This is a good position here for black to play. Kind of reminds me of like a Caro-Kann position or even a Slav position. It's a good, solid, strong, restraint type of position, you know, from black. So let's go ahead and move on. White can also play more ambitiously. So you have your e5 here, knight d5, c4 attacking the knight, knight b6, d4. So white is coming with his big pawn structure. And now we're going to try to break that up, of course, with d6 and f4. Now this is called the Alekhine's Defense 4 pawns attack. This is the most ambitious way for white to play. White is saying, I'm going to just blow black off of the board. We're going to smother black. We're not going to give him any space, any room. But again, you know, where there's pros, there's always cons. Okay, so black does not have as much space, sure, but white is creating a lot of pawns to protect. He's going to create some holes, so it's going to be a good counter-attacking game here. I love these type of games here. I'll play black here every time, no problem. So, you have d takes e, f takes, knight c6. Now you have two attackers on the d5 pawn. We're already starting to apply pressure to this center. So white has to play bishop e3, bishop f5. We're developing. Knight c3, e6. Now we've opened up a way for our bishop to come out as well. Knight f3, and now you have bishop b4. So black just has to castle here. And once he castles, he'll be fully castled and developed. King will be safe, pieces will be out, and our mission is to break down white's pawn. We actually have a plan. So we're just not playing, looking for tactics, looking for traps. You know, we actually have a good strategy, a good plan here. And when the tactics, you know, start to come up, then we can spot those too and go down that route. But black is in a great position right here. He's ready to face whatever white brings. This line here is called the Bortnik variation, and it's named after Alexander Bortnik. He is a specialist in the Alekhine's Defense. He's a GM, and I've had a lot of success with this line here, the bishop b4 line here. If you like counter-attacking, then I encourage you to do your research and explore this line and, you know, some other lines in the Alekhine's Defense, and you know, check it out in the databases and try it for yourself. So, okay, guys, I hope you enjoyed the lesson today. Please comment, like, and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.